Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Red, and I'm going to take 2 minutes out because a couple of people have been asking me questions about how I've got certain things already from my videos on the research tree. So I thought I'd just explain a few things and pretty much get a synopsis of where we are at the minute. So here's my map. I've pretty much done everything up to the Lonely Forest. I think was the last one, or I did the Foundry last. So I've got two hordes in front of me, or two swarms in front of me, and I can do the Oasis, which is level 3, or the Nest of the Harpy, which is level 3. I've done Cave Storm right yet, or actually stood out a little bit more about where you can go, or the Lands of the Giant. So I'll be tackling this next, Lands of the Giant, and then I'll probably have a little crack at the swarms, and that one probably next is at level 2. Might as well take them in order. So that's where we're at. The last map I did was the Foundry, and which is there, and the one before that was the Lonely Forest. So let's have a little look at the tech tree. Now, obviously, I can't tell you which ones I took in order. If you watch my playthrough video by video, the first 10 I'd say it's I actually pick them in the videos, so you can see why I did what I did and why I did. But I'm just going to run through these options here for anybody who hasn't played this game before, and I'm going to go all the way up to this line here. I'm not going to go any further. I'll do that at a later date because it's just too much to talk about. Okay, so I started at the beginning. Now this bearings and pulleys, this is one of the ones that I would, if I could respec, I wouldn't have spent the points on it. Basically, it gives Fisherman's Cottage an extra 20% food generation. So that explanation is simple enough. You know what it is. Um, Assault rifle is basically the ability to make soldiers from your barracks, which is a pretty decent thing. But I didn't worry about it initially because you can get away with taking um, archers for quite some time. I think I only picked that up on like mission 10 or something. I don't know. But obviously, it's definitely needed. So if you picked it, it's not a waste. Um, Mercenaries gives you an extra ranger at the beginning of a mission. Now this is quite handy because sometimes it takes a while to get a barracks up and running, so one extra ranger, and since it's all down to time, one extra ranger should increase your ability to kill zombies around your area 20% faster, right? So it makes sense to get it. So get that pretty early on. High-rise defense is another thing you should get pretty early on. They got excellent defense and they give increased range to archers, so they're a very good thing to have. Logistics you should get pretty early on. It gives you extra resource storage, 20 points, which means that when you when you're collecting wood, for instance, it goes up to, I don't know, say 200, and it hits its cap. But this obviously increases the cap to 220. So because you might notice sometimes that you're hitting the cap and it's not going any higher. So it also gives you an extra 40 gold income per day. I think I would have thought so. Unless that's actually just gold income storage. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's actually extra 40 per day or whether it gives you 40 storage. And then on the second line, efficient turbines. Now, this is a handy thing to get. I didn't take it because, I just took other stuff instead. But you find it's quite annoying. Mills are actually quite annoying because you've got to place them pretty far apart, and you need a lot of them. So it's not efficient turbines is not a bad thing to have. The only thing that put me off about it is that later on you end up getting a power plant, and once you've got this, you don't use that many turbines, that many mills anyway. So it wasn't a bad thing. I've got by without it basically. Um, but it is a little bit annoying that I've had to put down so many mills. If I could put down 30% less mills in some of my maps, I would have been a little bit happier, I guess. But so that's up to you if you want to take it or not. This military training gives an extra 20% HP, I guess, um, to defensive barriers, right? Okay, so defensive barriers are those barriers that you put on infected swarm maps. So I, I almost picked it for one of the, when I say the swarms, these things, these affected swarms, the barriers that you place down on the floor, it gives them an extra 20% HP basically. I've got by without it. Um, I might take it at a later date. I don't know. Okay, hunting. Oh, and there's something else as well. Oh, and it gives you an extra soldier at the beginning of every map. So that's not such a bad thing. The only thing I don't like about soldiers is that they do, because of the noise they create, they do drag a little bit of aggro. And I find having one in the beginning sometimes causes some problems. But it's up to you. Hunting weapons. Uh, Increases hunter cottage food generation by 20%. Not a bad thing to have, but I was more focused on getting the farm, to be honest with you, because once you got the farm, which is you and I'll talk about in a minute, um, you don't you do use hunter cottages, but it's just a bit like where, and food generally isn't a problem anyway. Once you got the farm, it's definitely not a problem anymore. If you get the farm early on, um, you're laughing when it comes to food. Mercenaries 2, get an extra sniper at the beginning of a mission. Not a bad thing to do, but I am bothered. Wood buttresses increases wood wall life by 20%. Now I didn't take this because I know that once I get the concrete walls, that I won't be placing wooden walls down. But obviously the only problem is to get the barricades, which we're going to need a lot of at a later date. You will have to get the wood buttresses. So it's something we can get away with for the time being, but not at the minute. Basic supplies. I think this means that it gives you plus 20 supply every day, or whenever the train comes in, it gives you plus 20 food supply or plus 20 energy supply. No, plus 20 energy supply. I don't get it. I don't understand what it's trying to say here. Is it saying it's increasing the food supply cap by 20, or is it giving you 20 every day? If somebody could tell me in the comment section below exactly what that means, I'd like to hear it. Gold transportation basically is giving you 200 gold. Now see, that's kind of told me something, because that's saying that you get 200 gold every 24 hours, but that's not what that's saying. So I'm thinking that is cap, food supply cap, and energy supply cap. But there is no energy supply cap, so maybe it's just giving you 20 energy at the start. So I don't know. If somebody can explain that to me, that would be awesome. On the third line, expert workshop. I got this pretty early on, and the nice thing I liked about it is you can tree off up to cereal farming, which gives you a farm. So I tried to get this as fast as you can. You've got to get it anyway, because it's the most important line down the tree. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's the most important line down the tree. So try to get that earlier on, and what it does is it gives you a wood workshop which you can plonk down on the floor, and then you need to research certain things. And in this instance, it gives you the ability to research a cottage, which is an upgrade from a hut. Once you get that cottage upgrade, it means you can plonk all your huts down, then upgrade the hut to a cottage rather than plonking loads of huts down. Now it's super handy, because what it does is allows you to kind of camp in a smaller area rather than putting 100 huts down. You can have like 50 cottages, for instance. So it allows you to kind of bunker up, especially on small maps where there's not enough room to put a lot of cottages down. So it's a necessity, and I strongly recommend you get this as soon as possible. The only thing I would say, of course, when you start making cottages, the hut gives you 4 population, the cottage gives you 8 population, and the one above it, which is the stone house, gives you 12 population. So it's an increase of 4 every time. But the increase in energy is not times 2, so it's like times 3, I think. So the energy for a hut is, say, 1 energy, and the energy for a cottage, I think, is 3, and then for a stone house is quite a bit. So as you increase, you've got to keep an eye on your energy needs, because your energy needs increase with the houses that you're building. Mechanized storage. This is a warehouse, and it basically expands the amount of capacity that you could hold. And what it also does as well, it kind of gives a production of buildings around there a bit of a buff. So what a good thing to do is always plonk a warehouse around, say, farms, for instance, or anything that produces something, like a mine or anything like that. So get that pretty much earlier on. It will help out quite a bit. It's not massively needed, but I find that the storage capacity is quite low, and you always end up capping it. And of course, when you're capping it, you're losing stuff. You're losing everything that you generate is just, I don't know. I think later on you actually get the money back for it, but for the time being, at the beginning, I think you lose it. And then on the third line, farming, cereal farming, which is awesome. You got to get farms as fast as you possibly can. Um, Reinforced armor. This I wouldn't take this now. This is the other thing that if I could respec, I wouldn't take. I would drop that. I don't. The only reason I took it is for one of the infected swarm missions. I felt like I could use less empire points if my guys had more armor, and it kind of worked, I suppose. So it's up to you. The follow on from that is an extra soldier at the beginning of the mission, so probably would never take that anyway. Reinforced projectiles gives range of damage extra 20%. You want to get this as fast as you possibly can as well, because in the beginning, like I said, you'll have 4 or 5 rangers at this point maybe, and clearing areas in the beginning for the first, say, 10 days is super important, obviously, for growth. So giving rangers extra attack damage is definitely one of the better ones to take. Optics gives you command center +5 view range. No idea what that is. I guess since your command center is the first item on the map, first building on the map, it gives you an extra 5 spaces of view range, I guess. So to me that sounds completely useless, since you have ranger that could just walk 5 spaces forward. The only problem is it follows on to these two things. This is a sniper, and you're definitely going to need a sniper, but at a later point, not quite yet. Snipers are awesome. I'll come to that anyway in a second. Barricades, obviously you can't take until you go wooden buttresses, but we will need it at a later date. Medicine gives your guys extra life. I probably wouldn't take this either. I think I took this again. I think I took these two pretty much at the same time, and it kind of buffed up my soldiers' life and my soldiers' armor, so they became a bit tougher. It's not a bad thing not to take. It's not a bad thing to take. It's not a bad thing not to take, really. I think you could get by without it. It just makes you guys a little bit squishy, obviously. Structure recycling. Returns cost when destroying. Well, why are you destroying things? I think that's absolutely useless. And I think the thing after a corpse recycling is not very good either. I mean, you kill 100 guys, you get $100. It might be handy. It might be handy later on at the later levels when the swarms are like, thousands. So I mean that would be awesome. But at the minute, I wouldn't bother with structure recycling. This wood transportation, I'll just go across this line a minute. Basically, you get 200 gold with the gold transportation, you get 200 gold with the plus 15 wood, and then you get plus 8 stone, and plus 6 iron, and plus 5 oil. So that entire line is basically, whenever the train comes in, it dumps a little bit more resources for you. Now I am taking it because I'm quite happy with the amount of resources that I'm taking from the map. And I don't think, even taking it, I don't think it would have had a different outcome for me on any of the maps so far. Later on, maybe, I don't know, I can't even see me ever taking it, to be honest, but we'll see in the future. Where are we? Where did we end? Oh, wood transportation, right, okay. Commerce, right, this enables you to build a market, and market's pretty friggin' awesome. What they do is they allow all the surrounding all the surrounding houses in the large area, quite the large area around it, to consume less food per build. So when you get like open maps, plonk a market down and then build your houses around the market, and that uses up far less resources. So I got that pretty early on, and and what it also does as well, it gives you the ability to sell any surplus stuff you want to sell. Like for instance, you don't really use steel that much so far. Later on you will, obviously, but I am I haven't really used steel that much in my scenarios, and it's just going to waste. So I'm mining it, and it's just going to waste. But the market gives you the ability to sell it, get gold from it. It also gives you the ability, if you're in a bit of a sticky situation, to buy some wood, although the prices are quite steep. But all in all, if when you get to a point where you're like, what can I get next? What's most important? I think market is pretty awesome. Ballistas, well, you need to get this ballista as fast as possible. Okay, so if I was starting, first thing I would do is get the extra ranger, get the workshop, get the ranger attack damage. That's all fantastic, and then get the ballistas, because the ballistas are amazing. It's going to be difficult to do a lot of these maps without this artillery. And if you haven't got it yet and you're at the position where I am, then kudos to you, because you must be just building a lot of units and a lot of towers. I couldn't have done half of these maps without ballistas, and they're fantastic as well. You just plonk them down and just forget about that side. You just move away from it, knowing that the ballistas will cope with almost everything. And they, of course, as well, they're pretty amazing. If you watch my videos, you see I'm totally into that, like, static turret business. Advanced lenses has a view range to detect enemies. It's basically like a radar, and it just shows all the enemies in a radius. Basically, it's not a bad thing to have, and we got to get sniper at some point. So when we get it, we'll use it, and we'll be happy that we got it. But at the time, at the minute, just go looking for them with your units. It's not a big deal. Long range rifle gives your soldiers an extra attack range, extra view range. Not a bad thing to have. And this wonder, this silent beholder. No, I've never seen this before. I don't think I've ever seen this before. This is new. I'll come to it in a minute. Advanced laboratories. All technologies research time minus 25%. At the minute, it's quite useless. Later on, when you've got loads of things you need to research, it could be handy then. It's only 120 points, so it might be something that we'll think about in the future. But at the minute, no. And I talked about corpse recycling. I think it's at the minute it's pretty useless as well. Lodging. Accomplished travelers who will work for the colony. The colonists in the surrounding area enjoy the tavern, generate more gold. So you're getting in basically, and you plonk it down close to your huts or whatever, and it generates a little bit more gold. It's a handy thing to have. I might take it quite soon, because I do find that most of the stuff that I'm struggling with is wood and gold. So I think I'll be looking at that, and it's probably something I'm going to take very soon. Not now though, because there's a couple of things I want to show you here that I will be taking for the next map. Prefabricated parts, extra building at the beginning of a mission, like a ballista. So it gives you a free ballista, pointless. Snipers, awesome. But we'll hold off for a little bit, because I don't want to spend the points on this. So to get a sniper at the minute is going to cost me 122.60, 360 points, and I'll get it, but not right now. We just talked about that global vision. It's the most precise complex artifact created. The beholder is installed on the command center, revealing the entire map. Now, to me, that sounds pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And if you're not awesome for me, I mean, you didn't have to take it, right? You can just come to YouTube and watch my videos, and you'll see what the map looks like. So, do you need to spend it? Well, debatable. Should I get it? Possibly. It's just I still have to spend 400 points to get it, so it's something I might look at later. I talked about storm transportation. Now this game's a gambling. It attaches to the inn, and basically what it does is it gives you a couple of guys every 3 days. It's actually okay when you think about it. Like an average game lasts about 40 days, so you get about, say, 12, 13 deposits of guys, I guess. The train comes every 3 days, gives you a bunch of guys. Now I don't know how many mercenaries there are. I can't remember. I think it might be I've got 3 stuck in my head. I don't know why. Could just be 1. I don't know. So if somebody knows and they'd like to post that in the comments, I'd like to know as well, to be honest with you. Just tell me how many mercenaries arrive every 3 days, and tell me what the mercenaries are as well. Are they rangers? Are they soldiers? I don't know. Advanced construction we talked about. Tesla coils. Now, I took this Tesla coils on the last map, and what it does is it gives you an extra increase of 4 radius, and I think that energy supply, shouldn't that be energy usage? Or do Tesla cars actually supply energy? No. Ooh. You know what? I didn't know that. But of course, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? That was something that never registered with me. Teslas actually give you energy, just like a mill would. It's obviously not a lot, but I thought Teslas actually took energy. Okay, I'll have to have a little look at that in the next map. Thermal energy is the power plant that took us on the last map, and it's pretty awesome because it gives you a shit. I think it's not 200. I think it's 800. It gives you 800 power. I think it's 800. The only downside to it is you've got to research it, obviously, from the stone workshop, which you've got to build after the wood workshop. So it takes quite some time to get to the power plant. It's like a mid-game kind of power supply. So even if you get this, you're still going to be using your mills for a little bit. But what it does do, it just on the last map it came in super handy because it was quite a small map, and those mills just get on my tits. I'm having to plonk one down all over the place, and then you get to the end of it and you try to do something, you've got no power. It's just like so I personally like these power plants, and I'm kind of looking forward to those landmines as well. To be honest, that's new. Advanced training time minus it improves, I guess. Oh right, okay. So any guys in your barracks, when you're creating people in your barracks, or creating your army, just takes 10% less time. It's not a bad thing to have, actually. That's pretty cool. If you're the type of person who likes more units and they do static defense, that could work out well for you. Concrete walls, I'm be taking out right now. Obviously, a lot better than wooden walls, and it looks a lot cooler. So I'll be getting that now. Chemistry, soldier attack damage plus 20%. Now, if it was on his own, I wouldn't get it because like I said, I'm a static kind of what do you call it? Thingy-bob kind of guy. You know, I prefer ballistas and all that kind of thing. If I was on its own, I don't know if I'd get it. But unfortunately, this insulating materials is quite a good thing to get, so I'm going to get it now. And then I'll come to insulating materials in a minute. Advanced Tesla transfer, energy transfer, so it gives you an extra +1 on your radius, and I guess it gives you an extra view range on the radius. I don't know why you would need that, because generally I pop down my Tesla towers behind my units. You know, what's the point of popping a Tesla tower down if you've got no units there? It's a little bit risky there. So I think that's quite useless, but there is something up here that looks pretty cool. But like I said, I'm not going to go that far yet because this is past the foundry, and I'm only going to go. I think I'm going to go up to this line, and then I'll have a bigger look because some of these things are new to me. And the foundry is something that allows you to put oil platforms down, basically. And once you start getting oil from your scenarios, all these things open to you, because all these things will need oil to build. So don't worry about it too much yet. Don't worry about getting that. I have seen oil in the last couple of maps, mine, so some of these things will be pretty awesome. I mean, Lucifer is amazing, and Steel Turbines is pretty good as well, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I only want to come up to this point, I think, and I'll leave that for another video. So where was I? Explosives, I don't know, never used them, looking forward to using them. Experience needed to be a veteran, pretty pointless. Military mastery. I have no idea what that is. I wonder. The Gross Academy, the most famous heroes train the army to battle this because what is that like? It's a lot of fucking gold. I don't even know if you can get 7,000 gold without increasing certain things. I'm not sure. Or you can get 200 wood, surely. But anyway, I don't know what that is, basically. Let's go back down here. Currency increases the amount of gold generated by each colonist. That's pretty good. Oh, sorry. It gives you a bank, and when you plonk your bank down, and that's what I used to do. You should put your bank next to your commerce, next to your market, and when you've got a bank and a market next to each other, it has a massive effect on all the houses that you build around it. So the bank is pretty cool, and I will be getting it real soon. Where's the currency? And I will be getting that real soon, but not now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get high risk. Oh, I don't know, mind. I don't know. I'm going to get high risk defenses, and this obviously changes your towers into stone towers, which is pretty straightforward. And I'm going to get this insulated materials, which drops the energy needs of stone houses and cottages, which is a pretty good thing to have. And then with my 120 points, I'm going to get autonomous weapons, which gives you a wasp. Now, to me, that's a machine gun, right? I think that's a machine gun. It doesn't look like a machine gun, but it says the machine gun. This machine gun automatically attacks enemies. So basically, it's a turret. It's a turret with a machine gun, and it's a lot better than the ballista. So it's pretty much a ballista upgrade, and I'm going to get that now and see how it pans out. I think that's where it is. On the next video, I'll tell you if it's any different, right? Plasma spheres, shocking towers. Awesome. Shocking towers are amazing. You're going to be wanting to get that real soon. Go really well with machine gun turrets. Put one next to each other, and they're pretty devastating. Like I said, I don't know what that is. I'll have to have a look at it. Black market improvements infected. Go kill +1. I'm pretty sure the black market does something a little bit more than that. But isn't there something else that gives you +1 per kill as well? It was course recycling. So maybe the two of them together, especially later on with bigger maps, they both work well together. But there's nothing really need to worry yourself with right now. Reinforced concrete obviously is going to give your defenses a bit of a buff in the future. Climate control. Wonder. See, these wonders are all new to me, so I don't know what they do. This magnificent architectural wonder generates its own climate control environment where the best crops bloom and thrive. So I'm thinking it probably turns a certain area around it into grass where you can put down farms, for instance. I'm thinking that's what that does. An armored attack station, and I don't know what this is. Operation Center for the deployment of the army. And defenses to attack the swarms of infected in open field. Interesting. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. High voltage ionizer gives your shocker a bit more range and a bit more damage, which is quite cool. That obviously allows you to build stuff to mine oil. Excuse me. Bronze forging. Another wonder. The unbreakable bunker stands as the most amazing symbol of the victory of humanity against the infected. Don't know what that is. I have no idea. And monuments in prestige factor +50. Don't know what that is either. Don't know. No idea. No idea. Okay. So these are the things now. They stuff that you're gonna get after you've researched and can start mining oil. I'm not gonna go into it. I think I've covered enough for you. You can pretty much see where I am right now, judging by the map. I haven't made any bad choices really, apart from that bearing the pulleys, maybe reinforced armor, and maybe medicine as well, maybe. But I did take those so I could do, like I said, I could do my infected swarms. So yeah, so that's it. If I've screwed something up or I've got something wrong, please leave a comment, because obviously this is a kind of educational video if somebody's new to the game. So add your comments below, because it's obviously is going to help. So yeah, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something from it. Don't forget to subscribe, because I'll be playing this game to the bitter end, and I've already got like 15, 17 or 15, 18 videos in the playlist, so there's loads of stuff there to watch. And I shall see you on the next video. Ta-ra, guys.